Welcome to this rigorous scientific lecture on one of the most fascinating topics in materials science, auxetic materials. These are materials that exhibit negative Poisson's ratio, meaning they expand when stretched and contract when compressed. This counterintuitive behavior has profound implications for nanotechnology and engineering. Before we dive into auxetic materials, let's establish the fundamental concept of Poisson's ratio. When you pull on a typical material like a rubber band, it gets longer in the direction you pull, but it also gets thinner in the perpendicular directions. This diagram shows a typical material under tension. When you apply a tensile force, the material elongates in the direction of the force and simultaneously contracts in the transverse directions. This is the behavior we observe in most everyday materials. Paris ratio, denoted by the Greek letter nu, is defined as the negative ratio of transverse strain to axial strain. The negative sign is a convention to make Poisson's ratio positive for typical materials. For most common materials, Poisson's ratio ranges from 0 to 0.5. Rubber has a Poisson's ratio close to 0.5, which means it's nearly incompressible. Cork has a value near 0, meaning it barely contracts laterally when compressed. Now here's where things get fascinating. What if Poisson's ratio is negative? These are called auxetic materials, from the Greek word auxetos, meaning that which may be increased. When you pull an auxetic material, it actually expands in the transverse directions. Pull it, and it gets fatter. Push it, and it gets thinner. This seems to violate our intuition, but it's perfectly consistent with the laws of physics. You might ask, does this violate thermodynamics or conservation of energy? The answer is absolutely not. Auxetic behavior is purely a geometric effect, arising from the internal structure of the material. The energy is still conserved. What happens is that the internal structure rearranges in such a way that expansion in one direction leads to expansion in another. There's no violation of any physical laws. Let me show you one of the most elegant examples of auxetic structures, the Re-entrant honeycomb. This is a periodic structure that demonstrates negative Poisson's ratio through a simple geometric mechanism. First, let's look at a regular honeycomb structure. This is what you see in nature in beehives. The cells are convex, bulging outward. When you compress this structure, it exhibits positive Poisson's ratio. Now look at the re-entrant honeycomb. The walls are inverted, pointing inward rather than outward. This simple geometric modification completely changes the mechanical behavior. When you pull this structure, the inverted walls rotate and unfold, causing expansion in all directions. The key to understanding auxetic behavior at the nanoscale lies in the concept of microhinges. These are regions where the material can rotate or bend preferentially. A microhinge is essentially a joint or flexible region where two structural elements meet. When force is applied, these hinges allow rotation, and this rotation is what drives the auxetic expansion. At the nanoscale, we need to consider buckling modes. When a slender structural element is compressed, it doesn't just shrink uniformly. Instead, it can buckle, meaning it bends or deforms out of plane. This is the Euler buckling formula. P critical equals pi squared times the elastic modulus E times the moment of inertia I divided by the length squared. This tells us the critical load at which a column will buckle. For nanoscale beams, the length L is very small, which might suggest high buckling loads. However, the moment of inertia I scales with the fourth power of the beam thickness, so extremely thin nanobeams can buckle at very low forces. Let's do a quick back-of-the-envelope calculation. Consider a carbon nanotube beam that's part of an auxetic nanostructure. Let's estimate the buckling force. Assume the length is 100 nanometers. The diameter is 2 nanometers. The elastic modulus of carbon nanotubes is approximately 1 terapascal, or 10 to the 12 pascals. The moment of inertia for a circular cross-section is pi d to the fourth divided by 64. Plugging in 2 nanometers, we get about 7.85 times 10 to the negative 37 meters to the fourth. Now substitute into the Euler formula. Pi squared times 10 to the 12 times 7.85 times 10 to the negative 37 divided by 100 nanometers squared. This gives us approximately 7.7 times 10 to the negative 10 newtons, or about 0.8 nanonewtons. This is an incredibly small force, showing that nanoscale structures buckle very easily. Now let's discuss one of the most exotic properties, negative compressibility. This means that when you apply pressure uniformly to a material, instead of decreasing in volume, it actually increases in volume. You might wonder, how can applying pressure cause something to expand? Doesn't that violate everything we know? The answer lies in anisotropic coupling through the microstructure. When pressure is applied in one direction, the internal structure responds by expanding even more strongly in another direction, leading to a net volume increase. Imagine a grid structure where the internal beams are pre-stressed. When you apply vertical pressure, instead of the structure compressing uniformly, the internal beams buckle and push outward, causing lateral expansion that exceeds the vertical compression. The compressibility beta is defined as -1 over V times dV by dP. For normal materials, beta is positive. For materials with negative compressibility, beta is negative. If beta is negative, then dV by dP is positive, meaning volume increases with pressure. This is the signature of negative compressibility. Let me describe a practical nano device that exploits negative compressibility, an ultrasensitive pressure sensor based on Auxetic nanolattices. The device consists of a nanoscale lattice with re-entrant cells. When pressure is applied, the lattice expands rather than contracts. This expansion can be detected optically or electrically with extreme sensitivity. Let's specify the design parameters for this device and calculate its performance. Each unit cell is 50 nanometers by 50 nanometers. The individual beams are 5 nanometers thick. We use silicon with an elastic modulus of 170 gigapascals. The effective Poisson's ratio of the lattice is -0.8, which is strongly auxetic. Now let's calculate how much this device expands under a small applied pressure. Apply a pressure of 1 kilopascal, which is about 1/100th of atmospheric pressure. The axial strain is the applied pressure divided by the effective modulus. For a nanolattice, the effective modulus is much lower than the bulk material, typically about 1% of the bulk modulus, giving 1.7 gigapascals. The axial strain is about 5.9 times 10 to the -7. The transverse strain is -nu times the axial strain, which equals 0.8 times 5.9 times 10 to the -7. This gives a transverse strain of 4.7 times 10 to the -7. If the device is 10 micrometers wide, it will expand laterally by about 4.7 nanometers under this small pressure. This is easily detectable with optical or capacitive sensing. You might ask, how do we actually fabricate these nanoscale auxetic structures? One of the most powerful techniques is two-photon lithography. Two-photon lithography uses ultrafast laser pulses focused to a tiny spot. At the focal point, 2 photons are absorbed simultaneously, causing localized polymerization of a photoresist. By scanning the focus in 3 dimensions, you can create arbitrary 3-dimensional structures. This technique can achieve resolution down to about 100 nanometers, which is perfect for creating our auxetic nanolattices. An alternative method is focused ion beam milling, where a beam of gallium ions carves away material atom by atom to create the desired structure. This is slower, but offers even higher resolution. These auxetic nanostructures have numerous exciting applications across multiple fields. First, as we discussed, ultrasensitive pressure and strain sensors. The amplified deformation makes detection easier and more precise. Second, biomedical stents. An auxetic stent expands when pressure increases, which could help prevent blockages in arteries. Third, energy absorption. Auxetic materials can absorb impact energy more effectively because they densify under compression rather than spreading out. Fourth, phononic metamaterials. The unusual mechanical properties allow control of sound and vibration propagation at the nanoscale. Fifth, aerospace composites. Auxetic reinforcements can improve fracture toughness and damage tolerance in composite materials. Let's explore the theoretical limits. How negative can Poisson's ratio actually be? For isotropic materials in 3 dimensions, thermodynamic stability requires the Poisson's ratio be between -1 and +0.5. What happens at the extreme limit of nu equals -1? At nu equals -1, stretching by a factor in one direction causes equal expansion factors in both perpendicular directions, so volume scales as the cube of the linear expansion. this is the maximum auxetic behavior possible. Despite the exciting potential, there are significant challenges in developing auxetic nanomaterials. First, structural stability. The microhinges and thin beams can fatigue or break after repeated loading cycles. Research is focused on more robust designs and materials. Second, scaling up. Creating auxetic structures at the nanoscale is difficult, but creating them over large areas while maintaining nanoscale precision is even harder. New fabrication methods are needed. Third, long-term degradation. At the nanoscale, surface effects and environmental factors can significantly alter material properties over time. More research is needed on durability. Let me introduce an advanced concept at the forefront of research: topological auxetics. These are structures where the auxetic behavior is protected by topological invariance. Topological protection means that the mechanical behavior is robust against certain types of disorder or defects. Even if you introduce imperfections, the auxetic response persists. This draws on concepts from topological band theory and condensed matter physics. Just as electronic states can be topologically protected, so can mechanical modes. This diagram represents a simplified topological hinge mode. The circular arrangement supports modes where deformation propagates around the structure in a protected way, leading to unusual mechanical responses, including auxetic behavior. How do we experimentally verify auxetic behavior at the nanoscale? This is a critical question because measuring mechanical properties at these scales is extremely challenging. First, atomic force microscopy indentation. An AFM tip applies controlled forces and measures displacement, allowing direct measurement of elastic properties. Second, in situ scanning electron microscope mechanical testing. You perform mechanical tests inside an SEM while imaging the structure, allowing real-time observation of deformation. Third, optical tracking. Embed fluorescent markers in the structure and track their positions as load is applied. This gives full field strain measurements. Let me share a recent breakthrough: Kirigami-based Auxetics. Kirigami is the Japanese art of paper cutting, and researchers have applied these principles to create remarkable auxetic structures. By making strategic cuts in a thin sheet, you create a pattern that can unfold and expand in all directions when stretched. This is much easier to fabricate than three-dimensional lattices. Kirigami has major advantages. It's easier to fabricate since you only need to cut a two-dimensional sheet. It's scalable from nanometers to meters. And the mechanical properties can be tuned by changing the cut pattern. Researchers have demonstrated graphene Kirigami at the nanoscale, creating auxetic graphene sheets with remarkable properties. These could be used in flexible electronics and sensors. Let's define a practical metric for auxetic devices: the amplification factor. The amplification factor A equals the transverse displacement divided by the axial displacement, which equals the absolute value of Poisson's ratio. For our device with nu equals negative 0.8, the amplification factor is 0.8. This means that for every unit of compression, you get 0.8 units of lateral expansion. Higher amplification means more sensitive devices. You're converting a small input displacement into a larger output that's easier to measure. So far we've discussed small deformations where the response is linear. But what happens at large strains? This is where things get really interesting. At large strains, the buckling modes can switch. A beam that was buckling in one direction might suddenly snap to buckle in another direction. This creates strongly nonlinear behavior. This nonlinearity can be exploited for programmable stiffness and shape morphing. By controlling the loading path, you can guide the structure through different configurations. This shows a bistable beam array. Each beam can snap from one buckled state to another. Combining many of these creates a metamaterial with programmable properties. An exciting frontier is multi-material auxetics, where different materials are combined in a single structure to achieve enhanced properties. By combining stiff and compliant materials strategically, you can control where deformation occurs. Stiff elements act as rigid links, while compliant elements act as hinges. This enables much greater tunability. You can create structures that are stiff in some directions and compliant in others, or that respond differently to tension versus compression. Let me introduce 4D printing, where time is the fourth dimension. These are structures that change shape over time in response to stimuli. 4D printed auxetics use stimuli-responsive materials that swell or shrink in response to temperature, humidity, or other triggers. The auxetic architecture amplifies these small material changes into large shape changes. For example, a material that expands 5% with heat can drive a 50% shape change if embedded in an auxetic structure with high amplification. Let me summarize the key concepts we've covered in this rigorous lecture. First, auxetic materials exhibit negative Poisson's ratio, meaning they expand when stretched and contract when compressed. Second, the mechanism involves microhinges, buckling modes, and geometric rearrangement of the internal structure. Third, some auxetics exhibit negative compressibility, where volume increases under applied pressure due to anisotropic structural coupling. Fourth, practical nanodevices like ultrasensitive pressure sensors exploit the amplified deformation response of auxetic structures. Fifth, fabrication methods include two-photon lithography, focused ion beam milling, and Kirigami cutting techniques. Looking ahead, auxetic nanomaterials represent a frontier where mechanics, materials, science, and nanotechnology converge. The potential for revolutionary devices in sensing, actuation, and energy absorption is immense. We're only beginning to explore the possibilities. Challenges remain in scalability, long-term durability, and integration with existing technologies. But progress is rapid. Advancement requires an interdisciplinary approach, combining expertise in mechanics, materials, science, fabrication, and device design. Thank you for joining me in this rigorous exploration of auxetic nanomaterials. These counterintuitive structures challenge our understanding of mechanics and open new frontiers in nanotechnology. The science is elegant, the engineering is challenging, and the applications are transformative.